the warrior has risen. This is a very special message I want to share today with you, but before we begin, I want to share some synchronicities that led me to this video today, and many of you may resonate with this. So 2 years ago in the summer, me and Maya have been in Greece. We've been traveling a little bit, and that was the time I started being more attracted to ancient Greek philosophy, and I've started reading it, and it created like a blueprint for me to understand a little bit more the beginning of this kind of philosophy, and later it led me into Stoicism, into ancient Rome philosophy and gladiators and the endurance and the need for resilience and things like that. And I was curious why everything is leading me into this kind of philosophy. And then Maya was also into it, my partner, and as I've started, talking with some people whom I would consider being more spiritual, they said to me, "Oh, so interesting, I'm into this kind of philosophy as well right now." So the last 2 years have been all about, for me, learning more about the background of philosophy, ancient Greek, ancient Rome, and just understanding all of this more. And I've been into this kind of, into this journey of, let's say, spiritual evolution for the last 8 years. But I was wondering, why Stoicism? Why ancient Greek philosophy? Why alchemy? And if we go back into ancient Egyptian teachings, why all of that is coming to me right at this point? And then a few days ago, me and Maya watched the movie The Gladiator. We firstly watched the old one and then the new one that just came out. And it was like such an incredible story, right? When the huge empire started falling and all the politics, governments started losing its power, there was the gladiator who had integrity, who had pure heart, pure spirit. And that's when I've started noticing the connection, why we feel so drawn into this kind of teachings. And then around 2 weeks ago, I was looking for a new gym because, as we moved to this place, I've been working out at home. I've set up my home gym, but I want to go, to a certain place to meet some new people and things like that. So I've been looking for a gym close to me, and I've tried to, and they were not so, I didn't like them so much. So Maya said to me, "Hey, here close to us is another gym, more unknown to us. I had no idea that it exists." So I went there, check it out, and the name of that gym was Arena. And the owner of the gym, is a very friendly guy. We started talking, and he said, I asked him like, why Arena? Why there on the walls there are these gladiators and quotes from Stoicism? And he said, "You know what? I really love ancient Greek philosophy. I really love Stoicism, and it helps me so much." And he's like a warrior. So all these synchronicities led me to look at the patterns a little bit, like why so many people who've been into spirituality and personal growth and evolution, like personal evolution, have been led to this kind of teachings, and like David Goggins and all these things, why people are so drawn into it. So for me, the connection was that we've been through the phase of spiritual awakening, and spiritual awakening is just coming back to your senses, coming back to awareness of your senses, of yourself, understanding that you are not separated from life. You are life. You're an expression of life. And therefore you need to learn to detach from the noises of society and connect back with your inner noise, inner voice. I hope it's voice, it's not noise, but well, it's the process, right? We connect back with our inner voice, which is truthfully the voice of life that speaks to us, and we need to become a channel of it, like an expression of it. That's when you learn to express yourself honestly, truthfully. But you also learn that you have a very unique qualities, unique strengths and unique weaknesses. That's when you start learning more about your soul. As ancient philosophers would say, you have a soul, but can you express it? Only those who can express it, they fully integrated this knowledge. So the spiritual awakening is all about going through the process of healing, detaching from the noises of society, the understanding of hurts, the purpose behind hurts from your childhood, and looking at all these things from a greater level of understanding, so you can wake up to the point where you recognize you shouldn't be a product of society. You should be the one that participates in the process of, or in the progress of society. You can't participate in the progress of society if you're only the product of programming. You need to gain a deeper connection, so then you can upgrade the game, right? And many people therefore have been through this process of spiritual awakening for the last 2-3 years. But now we are in a whole new phase. It's a phase of a warrior. That's why so many people are recognizing, well, all these old spiritual teachings, they don't work anymore. There's something new that's happening. There's a new energy that's present to us. And this new energy is all about integrity. It's all about focus. It's all about strength. It's all about discernment. It's all about authenticity. Have you noticed that? It's not just about healing anymore. Like, you can't just go on healing retreats and do it forever. At some point you need to recognize, well, now I also need to strengthen myself. Now I have understanding of my past. Now I need to use it for my strength, for my resilience, because life is not an easy path. And if I want to upgrade the game, if I want to fully express myself, if I want to endure on the path of passion and, you know, doing things we really love doing, we recognize this is not an easy path. So wait a minute, I need to strengthen myself, I need to prepare myself. And that's where we recognize that the rules of the game change a little bit. So things start to work a little bit differently. You get into a phase of a warrior where you start to see challenges of life as tests from life. You start to recognize that before this time, you've been learning a little bit about manifestation, a little bit about law of attraction, a little bit about mindfulness, a little bit about mindset and emotional set and all these things. But now you really need to put everything into work. So now manifestation doesn't work the same way as it did before. Now only what is resonating with you, only what is in resonance with your frequency is coming to fruition. Now you're at the point where you're going through another awakening. I call it the warrior phase. Why? Because you truly need to become strong in spirit. Not everyone is ready for this kind of path. Few years ago, many people were confident, like, yeah, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to follow my passion. I'm willing to go through a spiritual awakening. I'm willing to do all of these things. But I met many people who just quitted, went back into the matrix. Not everyone is really ready to go through this process. So many of you who are in a warrior phase, the warrior has risen. Many of you who are in a warrior phase right now may be feeling that the rules of the game have changed. And they have changed the way that you will feel like you're being tested, you're being prepared for something big. And that something big is not something that will make you superior. It will only introduce you to who you really are. Like a few days ago, I met two very special souls. They came from Florida, from USA to Slovenia. And they both said to me, you just need to own it. You just need to own it. And I felt these words so deeply. There's such a great depth to these words. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Ivy, for that. So I've been contemplating, what does it truly mean, you know? You need to own it. You need to own yourself. Then I've started recognizing that I may be even myself afraid of how capable I can be. I may be afraid of my own light. I can be afraid of embracing fully myself. And then I've noticed, well, so many people are afraid of embracing themselves. That's why people are being drawn into Stoicism and this kind of philosophies, because when times were different, they needed this resilience, they needed this strength. Now we are not challenged so much physically. Now we are challenged mentally, we're challenged spiritually. This is higher level. We are in a whole new time. So you're challenged mentally. We have social media. You're plugged in all the time. You need to learn mental resilience. You need to learn how to disconnect from all these things so you don't lose yourself. You see, attention is the greatest currency in this universe. If you're paying attention to too many things, you will end up broke of your vital life force. That's why you're in a phase of a warrior, to learn to strengthen your mind, to learn that not everything is worthy of your attention, to learn that you are in a phase of preparation where you are truly strengthening your focus, which means that you need to develop a certain level of discipline and no one will push you into it, which means you need to find your own will, your own motivation, your own drive to do it. And it must come from your inner fire, which is a vision for a greater life. You need to find a vision for a greater life and then use it for motivation to develop routines and habits in your life that will allow you to cultivate focus, which means you need to set boundaries and limits, time limits, for how much you allow yourself to use devices, to use social media, to watch news, to listen in information, to read, to study, all of this. You need to discipline yourself. And we all know that mind is not disconnected from the body. That's why so many people are feeling drawn right now during this time into working out, into gyms. Like there are people who've never been into working out. Right now they're going into the gyms. They're working out. Some people are drawn into martial arts, like Shaolin and things like that. I've actually created a painting of a Shaolin master some time ago. And I never just receive a vision for a painting without any reason. So I always look at it, when I get this kind of ideas, I always look at it as the manifestation of this present time. 2 years ago, I've painted the dragon. You can go and check it out on AttractPassion.com, and I told you 2 years ago this energy stream started, the warrior spirit. Now we are fully integrating it. So there's a Shaolin master painting. So many people are being drawn into this kind of practices that help us to strengthen our bodies, because for a strong mind we need a strong body. This is an ancient wisdom. Ancient philosophers knew that physical movement is also a mental cultivation. When you become more active in the body, you will become more clear in the mind. There will be less stagnation. Ancient Chinese teachings, traditional Chinese medicine has this term of stagnant energy. Many times we have stagnant energy in our bodies, and they actually have practices that are like yoga, where you twist your body and stretch certain muscles so you can release that stagnant energy. That's why it's so important to move your body and to strengthen your body. So we are in a phase of a warrior right now. And how can you know that you're actually in this phase? Well, you wanted to have an easy path, but your path is far different than easy. It's just the opposite. It's a very hard one. It may feel hard, but also you are very grateful how much it already shaped you, strengthened you. You can also know that you're in a phase of a warrior if you're a cycle breaker in your family, which means that you're learning everything by yourself, or you needed a therapy, or you needed a coach, you needed a mentor to really teach you what has happened. And now you're integrating it. Like, you can have a therapist, you can have a coach, you can have a mentor, but it's still you versus you when it comes to you, right? It's then you that needs to direct you. And you need to find the guidance inside of you. That's why you need to become a warrior. You need to become strong in the mind and in the body. And that's where you will strengthen the spirit. You see, being strong in the spirit means to have integration, to have integrity. So we can, integrate the knowledge, to have integrity, to stand for what is right. And more you're doing it, more you're drawing more of your spirit into your body. So you are starting to feel more vital. That's why people are aging so much slower when they're doing this work. Have you seen Tai Chi masters who are like in their 80s and 90s and they look young, their skin is young, and they are completely vital because they have so much more life force in their bodies? This is what you're going through right now. So the main message here is, what is not in sync with you anymore will fall apart. In the Taoism by Lao Tzu, there's a verse that says, when you walk the path, you become the path. So notice that your path is yours. Carl Jung said, if your path in front of you is clear, you're most probably on someone else's path. When you're on your own path, it will be unclear. It will be blurry. It will be uncertain. This is the time of uncertainty. Yeah, it's global, but it's also your personal uncertainty. You're already deep in the process. The point is that you embrace you. You recognize that your qualities make you strong, your weaknesses make you unique. Work on both of them. Work on your strengths, make them even greater, but also work on your weaknesses, sharpen them. You will recognize that if you're feeling drawn to, like, into the gym or into martial art or into any kind of a practice right at this time, or anything that is challenging your fears will be attractive to you during this time. Anything that is challenging your doubts and limiting beliefs will be attractive to you, and a part of you may be scared a little bit of this. Like, why do I feel so deeply drawn into these things? But eventually you will know, because it will change you. And sometimes people are afraid of change. Don't be afraid of the change, my friend. Don't be afraid of the change, because it is preparing you for something big. Embrace it. Embrace it, my friend. A core theme of Stoic philosophy was let go of what is out of your control and fully focus on what can you do to change the situation. And right now the situation is there's many evil forces on this planet that are losing their power. There's many people that wanted you to stay weak, that wanted your mind to stay weak, that wanted your spirit to be disconnected from your consciousness. But you are now past that. You're now sharpening your mind. You're now strengthening your body. And you're now finding an enduring resilience that is helping you to walk the path that is extremely uncertain. You may notice that you thought it will be an easy way. You thought it will be all beautiful and positive and, rainbows and butterflies and all of this. But you've recognized it's a path of high peaks, of mountains, and misty forests where you don't really know what's behind the tree. So all your beliefs may fail you, all the knowledge may fail you, all the past experiences may fail you on this path. It's only about faith, not some religious faith where they told you to believe into something just because a certain figure, public figure told you that. It's about real, generous faith that was taught to you by life because you told everything will fall apart and you will die, but you've survived and you came out wiser. This is the real faith. Believing without having a physical evidence. This is the definition of faith. But you can't, have faith without trust. And you can't have trust without courage. And you can't have courage without taking action. So, at some point, a philosopher must become a doer. So we've been in a phase of spiritual philosophy. There was more and more information about spiritual philosophy. More podcasts became popular and interviews and all of that. Beautiful thing. It woke up many people to a greater understanding. But at some point, a philosopher must initiate himself or herself into a doer, to integrate this philosophy into practice and to filter what is useful and what is useless. And walk the path. That's when a philosopher becomes a doer. And at some point, doer becomes a master. So you're in a phase of a warrior if you feel these things right now. And only so you will master the craft. You will master thyself. So embrace you, believe in you, trust your path, and know that everything is being provided to you. The universe is supporting you, life is supporting you. So believe into you. My friends, I will leave you here. I hope you've enjoyed in today's message. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Thanks to everyone for choosing to support my art on our store, AttractPassion.com, or Etsy store, AttractPassion. Thank you so much. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. Thank you so much, and till next time, one love.